What's happening, guys? It's your girl Mina. Welcome back to my channel. You guys already know what it is. Happy Friday. Hope you all had a wonderful day. It's finally the weekend's here. You lot know I love the weekend, but of course, not with this fixture coming up. We're going to talk about it. Of course, always joined by my wonderful guest, Saeed. How you doing, bro? How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, Friday, obviously, Jummah, so blessed day anyway. But other than that, I can't lie to you. It just feels like a bit normal. Like I just feel like everyone's a bit too calm. I don't know what it is, but I watched the press conference today. Well, I didn't watch it. I see these quotes, and then I seen a couple of videos on Twitter, and I don't know, man. He's smiling. He's a bit calm. I don't know. He just looks like a madman to me, man. That nothing's going wrong. But I suppose he has to portray that to the people and act like everything's calm. But yeah, I just feel like it's one of them where there should be more build up to this game, but it feels like we're possibly waiting for Liverpool to destroy us. But then if it doesn't happen, then I'm waiting for everybody to come and say to me, look, Saeed, hold that. Ten Hag in, you lot are joke. And that's what I'm expecting. So, you know what I mean? Let's see. Let's see what
Klopp
happens.
actually.
But nah, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to the game, I can't lie.
We're gonna talk about the game and obviously all the build up because Klopp actually mentioned it. Firstly, big up to everyone in the chat. You guys know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button as you come in. Klopp actually
Come on.
mentioned it in his press conference today. He said that a lot of people are kind of counting United out already, and that's when people tend to perform well, when everybody's kind of counting
Yep.
you out. So he was like, I don't want the press and the media and everyone to be doing that because it's basically, it makes things more difficult for us because this team are now going to come out and perform. The manager did his press conference, of course, you mentioned it today, and he said he knows who his captain is, but he ain't gonna say who it is
Mm.
until. Do you know who it might be? Because bear in mind, I think he said Maguire's out. Obviously, Luke Shaw's expected to return. It's probably likely going to be a Evans and Varane partnership, which will be very interesting to see if it is that.
Mm.
I have a very weird feeling that it's either going to be Johnny Evans or Scott McTominay.
Yeah.
I got a
No,
very unusual
Johnny
feeling.
Evans. It's Johnny Evans for me. Johnny Evans will play alongside Luke Shaw at centre back. I
Oh,
know it, and I think it will happen. Yes, Johnny Evans will be the centre back. Sorry, the captain. Johnny Evans will play right side at centre back again, even though apparently the situation was it's not. That's not where he was going to play, and it was left sided and whatnot. But that's a whole other debate. But yeah, like I said, it's one of them. I think it will be Johnny Evans. I don't think it'll be McTominay. I'll be surprised if it's McTominay because I look at John Evans, if he's fit and he's ready, he'll be starting anyway. I don't think
he's the
he'll
most
stick
senior
around.
player. He's the most senior and most experienced
Yeah.
football player in the team. But for me, it would be like a statement to make it McTominay.
Mm.
I feel like it would be a statement if the manager made McTominay captain because essentially everyone's already questioning why is he playing anyways. And obviously he scored a few crucial goals for us this season, and he's clearly something that the managers relied on, which I don't know why.
Yes. Keyword relied on. You know what I mean?
So
That is true. That is true. No, I agree with you on that, Sven. It'll be two of them. It'll be one of the two. It will be McTominay playing if he's playing. If Evans doesn't play, then it's going to be McTominay captain. Let's just simplify it like that. If Evans doesn't play, then it's McTominay the captain, 100%. I don't see anyone else. Luke Shaw, he should be really captain because he's been here for what 10 plus
isn't he
years.
part of the
He's meant to be a
captain?
senior.
He's part of the leadership team. He's part of the leadership team with Bruno and
Oh,
Varane
okay.
and someone else. Is four of them. I know Luke Shaw is part of that. It's interesting that none of his signings would even make the cut of being captain. Whether it's Onana, whether
Yeah.
it's Anthony, Rasmus. I mean, he did mention in the past that Onana has leadership-like qualities, but I don't think he'll make him captain.
You don't want to put pressure on him because he's got to make sure the ball doesn't go in the net. You know what I mean? And we've got a team that's killers in it in front of goal. You know what I mean? They've got good players in there, but I look at it in that aspect of you know what with the captain, it's difficult, man. I don't really see the captain. You know what I mean? Like obviously we've got Bruno Fernandes as a captain right now, and you kind of show the leadership qualities, but I don't feel like. Do you feel like there's a captain at Man United though? When you deep in I know people go on like Bruno, he comes back, he drags back, but I still don't feel like there's any accountability. The mentality just drops, and we go 1-0 down. You know what I mean? There's not a player that's still gonna play good. You know what I mean?
Like
So with
when we talk about captains, I think it's because we're so kind of caught up in the past experiences of captains at United or just captains in football in general. I feel like, especially in the Premier
Yeah,
League, you look at, when you want to be, when you think of a captain, you think of a Roy Keane, you think of an aggressive person,
yeah,
someone that will, go around hitting the back of their teammates' heads, hyping them up, that kind of stuff. But then you look at other clubs and you look at the kind of captains they have, and they're more so, some of them have captains that are like, I'll say on the pitch a lot more, they're a bit more reserved. They're not like Bruno, but they are like they lead by example. And I think you get two types of
yeah.
captains where you get the high, you think of a captain and you think of the likes of Sergio Ramos and Pepe and them kind of heritage, football heritage kind of players.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't think there's many captains like that.
No, no. But you got to remember, Reece James is captain for Chelsea, and he's out injured now. You know what I mean? So
That is
not
pointless
really.
captaincy.
Yeah,
He's
pointless
captain by work
captain.
experience because he's
Yeah,
barely
yeah,
on.
basically. Yeah, 100%. So when you look at it, like, what does a captain really, really mean if you kind of deepen it in that way? So I hear you on that aspect, but I just think it's one of them where with Man United, especially now in the minute, you know what I mean? Is a captain going to really do anything on Sunday? You know what I mean? It's like with Bruno now, nobody's really, really bothered that Bruno's not playing because, if you look at his
I think
record at
people are more
Anfield,
happy that he's not. I think people are more happy that he's not playing, which is kind of
the thing
damning.
is, yeah, but the thing is, though, I'm not even happy nor sad. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of in the middle because
Yeah.
who's going to come in and replace him? Really, let's be honest. If there was Mount, I would have said, right, let's showtime. Let's go, man. Let's see what this Mount's all about. But we don't even see Mount in the team. Donny's leaving the football club. Who else is out there? McTominay's going to play that role, but then McTominay's been a number 10 rather than Bruno. So that's where I'm like, really and truly, like, we don't have a number 10. Hannibal? Come on,
Hannibal
really?
maybe, but because he played 10 a bit for Birmingham City, but I don't think he's a 10. For me, he's more like
Uh
an 8. I think he's more like a
he's
he's
an
more
eight.
like
He's an
a
eight. He's an
deep-lying
8 for me.
player, yeah.
He's an energetic box to box 8. But I still don't think he's the quality of Man United. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Hannibal, but he's not the quality of Man United. But I would have seen Amad Diallo maybe in that 10. I would be looking at Amad Diallo maybe in that 10 if it was possible. He could get in the pockets, etc., etc.
It'll be
But
crazy
I
if
look,
this is his first game back though. He's come back from a long-term injury.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think
yeah.
he's
That's
trained
true.
as
That's
much
true.
as well. I don't think he's trained as
No,
much
no,
as
no.
the first
Well, to
game.
be fair, he has trained a lot. He was getting involved in them rondos. Did you see how he was getting them? But with Ten Hag, though, you're never ready, are you? Until he says so. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of them where when you're ready, that's when you're ready. You know
I'll
what I
be
mean?
honest,
Until
on Amad Diallo, I'll be very shocked to see him play anything more than 7 games this season. Honestly, I
wow,
don't
you know
think
what's
he's
mad
in the
as well?
manager's plans.
Yeah, you know what's mad though? You got to remember now there's less games. I mean, there's only one game. I think there's 2 games in January.
Literally
They've
1
got
FA Cup and 1 Premier League game, that's it. And that's all at, like, the
ah
first 2 weeks of January. The second the last 2 weeks of January, there's nothing.
wow. That just shows you that maybe it's going to be a situation for players that might be leaving then, or players might be signing. Be a good time to integrate any signings you're going to bring in January, or it's a good time to get rid of players. And
Yeah.
fair play to Donny. Donny looked at that and thought, yo, I need to go now because and there ain't no games. So even you might see players that you probably thinking that probably won't have left, like Palestri, and these guys might be leaving in January because there's not many games. There's no Europa League. If there was
Yeah.
a Europa League, people will say, you know what, I can play here, but you're going to waste his 6 months for no reason. So I don't know if Ahmad will stay or will not stay. You don't know yet. You know what I mean? If the club comes and says, I want to sign this guy in January and they've got a Europa League run, then they might go and get him. Who knows? And would that benefit his career? Probably if the manager's not going to
Probably.
use him. If we know the manager's not going to use him, then you might as well go on loan. That's just the way I kind of look at him now. In football now, reality is if you're not going to play, you might as well go on loan. Simple as that.
It's funny
So
because you look at the players that all went on loan last season, none of them really have had the Hannibal. I would say he's played a few games this season, but I was under the impression that Hannibal was going to leave in the summer. Dortmund wanted him. Quite a few teams wanted him, and they ended up holding on to him instead. Ahmad, I think, would have left in the summer, but he got injured in pre-season. I think there was talk of
yeah.
either sending him out on loan again or on a permanent move. Ethan Laird left. Alvaro Fernandez, is he on loan? Is he? I don't even know
He's on
where he is.
Granada,
He's
Granada.
on loan.
You
He's
know
on
what? I
another
watched a few
loan.
games. I've watched a few games of him. He's doing decently well. I know the bottom of
He's
the
good.
league, but
He's good though.
yeah,
I watched him at Preston
yeah,
North
yeah,
End a lot last year, and I think he
yeah,
had the
yeah,
second best loan spell probably after Amad Diallo. So for me, it's
yeah.
more like Ten Hag kind of. I think he's made it clear, especially the fact that Ethan Laird shipped off. Zidane Iqbal
Yeah, for
didn't even get a
700K.
sniff. Zidane didn't even get
Yeah,
a sniff, shipped off. So I think Ten Hag is quite clear in terms of if the players fit his idea
you
or
know
what
that's
he
mad.
wants.
Though when you think about it, United let him go. Yeah, I know they've got a release clause on, not a release clause, but a sell-on clause,
Sell on
etc.,
clause, yeah.
etc. But the fact that it just shows you how much control Ten Hag has had in this transfer window. The fact that, I get it, he's on loan. Sorry, I get it, we sold him, we can buy him back. But the fact that he wasn't put on loan maybe thinks that the manager really didn't rate him in that kind of regard. He maybe didn't have that physicality or that kind of,
It's
that
funny because
that edge.
if you go back and look at when Ten Hag first came in, or just before he came in,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was asked about him, and he said that he didn't understand why Zidane Iqbal wasn't playing first team football at United because from what he's seen, he's good enough to play. And then he didn't play him at all the entire season, and then sold him.
yeah. After having a good preseason as well. After having a good preseason, and then didn't really play him. Obviously, he kept Kobe Mino in there. And then obviously he's using a bit more. I get it, he's a bit more physical, a bit more aggressive, Kobe Mino, but I think Zidane's got qualities that Kobe Mino doesn't have. I think for me, it's gonna sound wild, but I do think Zidane Iqbal is a little bit technically better than Kobe Mino. I don't know if am I wrong in saying that? I think Kobe Mino is very, very good technically, but I just have that feeling that Zidane Iqbal's got that bit of something magic. You get me? Like something that you don't think he's gonna give you, that Mino gives you. That I think
I
Zidane
think
Iqbal does have.
from what I've seen of Zidane Iqbal from especially like his later stage in the academy, I feel like Kobe was developed a lot sooner than
Sooner, yeah.
Zidane.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's one thing that you have up on it. I feel like age-wise, if you were to compare how they were at the same age, like 17, 18 or whatever, I think Kobe's miles ahead, miles ahead. But I think
Yeah.
what Zidane has, I think he's got very good technical ability. But I think the way it's worked with, I think it was Angel Gomez. Small players,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
petite-looking
Yeah.
players haven't tend to get opportunities at United. They don't, because United
No,
won that
that's the
physically.
problem.
And also, I think Zidane was played in the wrong position for quite some time.
Yep.
If I feel like he probably would have worked in the 8-10 role, maybe more
Yep.
so 8. And now he's actually been unfortunate with injuries. I think he just made his debut the other day at club level.
Yeah. He's been injured a lot
He's
this
been very
season.
unfortunate.
Stop and start. Yeah, stop and start this season. You get me? So Angel Gomez is another one. Angel Gomez is free agent in the summer,
Yeah.
Free
Would you
agent.
bring him back? Somebody asked me this the other day on the stream. They were like, "Would you bring him back?" And I was
Mm.
like, to be honest, no.
But we have to, the thing is though, you know what it is there? That just shows you sometimes when you I don't know what the word is saying, but we shouldn't look back, yeah, just because we're poor at the minute and we're low. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, just because we're low, does that mean we need to bring back Adrian Gomez? We shouldn't have sold him in the first place. If that's a better answer, we should
Yeah,
never have
I
sold him in the
agree.
first place. But I still wouldn't bring him back just for the sake of saying, oh, you know what, let's just bring him back. I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? And if the chat will do that, then that's fair enough to the chat. But yeah, man, listen, shout out to Adrian Gomez. He's probably more technical than McTominay. You know what I mean? But again,
Oh,
doesn't have the
I think he is.
physicality.
I think he is.
Well, there you go. So, he's more technical than these guys, but then obviously it's the hard work, it's the intensity, manager looking out for. Look at wingers now. Look at the way wingers play. Why is there no flair? There's no element of style. Look
Don't
at
you
our
think
wingers.
flair?
Like,
No, but
I
don't
love
you think?
Garnacho, yeah.
Sorry to cut you. Just on the topic of flair, don't you think football has kind of growing up in the
Yes.
2000s? Everybody had having flair was the it thing to be a footballer, basically.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people like
You
them
had
kind
to
of
have that.
players. Nowadays,
Yeah.
I feel like I can't remember who it was, but they said basically football is now moving towards a way where you have to be an athlete, like you need to know how to run,
Yep. Yep.
rather than being technically good or having skills and that kind of stuff.
System based. It's too system based. Yeah,
Yeah.
football's too become regimented. It's too robotic. Sometimes I look at Ten Hag on the touchline, and he's always asking for his wingers to come short and then collect the ball and what do you call it? Like, tuck in and make sure your space is right. Ten Hag is very, very meticulous on spaces, uses spaces well. So he's always telling the defenders to stick to that position, stick to there, stick to there. And I'm like, can you just let them be wingers? I get it. These players are just not responsible. They're not responsible at all. But I just feel like the element of wingers now, we've got wingers now, apart from Ahmad and Sancho. Listen, people might not like it or not, but Sancho is not robotic in that way. He has got a bit of something different to him. You know what I mean? He has got that kind of intelligence to him. You know what I mean? He might not have the pace, but he can give and go. He can get into little positions. You know what I mean? He can swivel away from you and then go on a run. He can use his dribbling skills wisely. Okay, he hasn't been consistent, but you know what type of winger he is. I just feel like the wingers that we've got anti-direct. Garnacho, I like him. If people know about it, I'm always defending Garnacho on every platform, but I do think his is in behind pace and it's more counter-attacking base. When you do 1v1 Garnacho, apart from a few moments, most of them, have you noticed, if you stand on Garnacho now, he's
He'll
not going to get
struggle to
past
get
you.
past you. Yeah, he'll struggle to get past you.
Physicality and everything. He won't get past you. And that's something that he'll have to learn. He's only 19. He'll learn that in a few years' time because he'll know that this can't be done. So, I just feel like it's one of them where, it's difficult. Really, really it's difficult to kind of merge into a winger now because it's so robotic. It's pretty sad really, but it's the
You,
reality, unfortunately.
you touched on obviously Ten Hag telling his players to stick to positions and spaces and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm sure you've heard about the news, the rumors about Graham Potter, the possibility of having Graham
yeah.
Potter as a manager. Where do you stand on that in terms of, because I know you're very much Ten Hag out, he needs to go. Do you think it would get
Yeah.
better with Potter, with a sporting structure?
No. You might get a short-term release. If he was interim to the end of the season, yeah, but he ain't gonna ever be interim. Like Potter's it's a good manager for his own right, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a discussion with Lauren yesterday. I had a discussion with a lot of people. Some people like it. I was on the Mandem talk and Musa was calling it out, and I was like, bro, I don't know, man. But Musa, when he says some things, yeah, it's been right, He was the one to be telling out first, and I said to him, shut up, Musa, man. And he was talking about the white towel and throwing it in, and Ten Hag looks like he's concussed and whatnot. Like he's been saying a lot of truth, yeah. And now all of a sudden, a few hours later after the Mandem talk, we hear briefs about Graham Potter. Honestly, it was mad. But it just goes to show, like, with Graham Potter, though, I just don't think he's able to get that step up. Certain managers are just good at that level. You know what I mean? They're good at Brighton. They're good at these kind of levels. When they go to a top club, they don't have that same. The expectation rises, and as a
Yeah.
result, they crumble. And I think he's the one who came to Chelsea. I don't think he's a bad manager, but he just crumbled. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? He
Yeah, no,
just crumbled.
I get that. I think for me, I think Potter would be if this sport like at Brighton, he did well. They had a good sporting structure. They had structure across the board in terms of for
Yeah,
recruitment, for youth, etc. At Chelsea, I think Chelsea was a bit more chaotic in terms of what's going on over there. I think it's still chaotic. I just feel like if we go from Ten Hag to Potter, is like I feel like it's a step back. I feel like it's a step back. I think
yeah. There you go.
tactically Potter's good, but for me, it's like the man management. I'm worried about is it wrong for me to say he gives the impression that he's a soft person? I don't know if
Yep.
it's wrong for me to say that, but that's the impression that I get, obviously from kind of what I've seen in press conferences, that kind of stuff. With Ten Hag, you know how I feel about Ten Hag. I like the fact that he's stern. I like the fact that it's very much his way or the highway, because we've had way too many managers that kind of ended up succumbing to the players' wishes, and player FC or player power ends up winning. Ten Hag, I like that thing about his character, the fact that he's stubborn. He's that you. I don't think you like that, the hard headedness.
No, no, exactly. I don't really like that. Because I just feel like for me, he doesn't inspire me on the touchline. When he's on there, I just feel like he's not. The players don't react to what he's doing. That's just the way I kind of look at it for me in my exam. Like on that game against Bayern Munich second leg, why did we not go for it? Why did we not throw the towel in? Why did we not just throw everything in there?
Don't you
Throw
feel
the
like
kitchen sink at it.
I feel like you should have, because Bayern
Why
weren't
to
good.
lose?
Bayern weren't good. And
No.
really and truly, if you really want European football, no matter how much, I didn't want it in terms of Europa League. but you should
Yeah.
still want to stay in some sort of competition, some sort of trophy hunt or whatever you want to call it. I
Fact.
agree. They do.
Yeah.
But I
Something.
also feel like when we went a goal down, it's like, and this is the theme across the whole season, it's like we're defeated, especially when we feel like the other team is better than us. When it's a team like, Nottingham Forest, we were losing to them. We felt like we could come back against them. But when it's a team where you feel like they are better than you feel defeated already.
Facts.
And I feel like that's
Facts.
the mentality
Exactly.
of the players. I don't think it's
Yep.
down to the manager. I think the manager could have threw in anyone. I mean, he barely had any options on the bench, but he could have threw in anyone, and the mentality probably wouldn't have changed. It would not have changed. We
Yep.
had one shot on goal on target, I think, the entire time.
That's what I'm trying to say. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm just over it in that regards, in terms of we're not really creating a lot as well now. I feel sorry for Hojlund, by the way. I don't know if you feel the same, but I get where a lot of people are getting at him for whatnot. But I feel like there's no service in behind. Dallo, for me, ridiculous what they're doing now, and everyone's fending for himself. We don't have team players. This is why I'm like, why don't you just give Sancho an opportunity again? Just tell him, yo, listen, you're gonna come to play because I need you right now. Just humble yourself to that, man. Say I
But do you
need you
think
right
that
now,
would,
and I need to create.
if Ten
You know
Hag
what I mean?
if Ten Hag went back on his way, because he already said it. He said he doesn't regret how he's dealt with this Jadon Sancho situation. So if he was to turn around and
He would
say
have cooked with their Hojlund. He would have cooked with
he would
Hojlund.
have done, I
Because you know
think
why?
Sancho in the
Look at
10,
Haaland.
Sancho in the
Yep.
10, I think would have been perfect. Especially because
Yep.
we already tried him in that false 9 position in the preseason. So just playing him just behind the striker, I think it would have been good. I think it would have been great. And we know Sancho's got that technical ability. The problem I had with Hojlund, especially like Champions League game, is that strength, man for man, strength for strength, you are not beating Upamecano. He showed you that once in the game, but you kept
That's true.
trying to basically fight him. And Kim Min Jae for me is like, okay, try outpace them, ask for a ball over the top. Then that's when the point about players not feeding him, he's not getting any service. But try it and run him behind the centre backs. Don't be trying to go blow for blow, fist for fist with them, because they've already showed you
Yep.
multiple times that they're gonna body you. So for me, it's like,
Yep.
the strength battle, you are losing it. That's when your technical ability should come in. That's when
I don't know why he keeps doing that though,
IQ.
like the strength thing. Why does he keep like going back into people? You don't need to do that, my friend. Like, it's not gonna help you out. You know what I mean?
I'll be
Stop
honest.
doing that, man.
I'll be honest. When he joined, I watched like comps and all of
I
that kind
watched
of
a lot
stuff.
of him,
And I thought he was like a operate in the box kind of striker, cut
Yeah,
back.
but everyone kept saying that.
That's what
But
I thought. And now I'm
these
getting a
tacticals,
back to goal guy.
these tacticals, yeah. I'm sorry, man. These tacticals were waffling in the summer. They kept telling me, no, he's a fox in the box. He's in the box all the time. He's a box yard striker. I said, no, he was always on the wings, yeah. He was always chasing. He was running in behind. He weren't really. I know some of his goals may have seemed like he he had a tap-ins and whatnot, but his overall game was outside the box, marshalling defenders. He was quick. He was strong. At the time, Serie A, he was looking like he was the one, but here. And also, I feel like Ten Hag, yeah, sometimes he's asking strikers to press a lot, yeah. But sometimes I feel like he looks knackered before he's got into the box. Have you
I mean,
noticed that?
all of them do. He stops pressing after like the 50th minute.
Yeah.
It's always like that. It's always like that. And I feel like the biggest problem for United this season, obviously, it's the results, it's the performance. But I think that all stems from, are they being overworked fitness wise? What has changed in the last year, in the last 12 months, from last season to this season? What happened in preseason? Because I remember watching preseason thinking, raw, everybody looks unfit. I was like, everybody looks unfit. But I thought it's just preseason. It's just preseason. I thought they're playing, in America, high altitude, hot heat, that kind of stuff. So they just look tired. Then the Wolves game happened, the Spurs game happened. And I was like, people still look tired. They look exhausted. Then people are getting non-contact injuries. They're getting muscle injuries just from walking on the pitch. What is happening behind closed doors? They even nabbed a physio from the women's team.
I know, I heard about that.
To bring him
That's
to the men's
mad.
team. So now they've got more physios. What is going on at that club, at this club, in terms of how they're training? I don't know.
By the way, is it Man United women fans? Are they? I don't know why I'm saying that, but just in general, like the ones that watch it regularly, like are they angry about that, or are they kind of like like is what it is, like?
Yes, I think they're more annoyed that this is, I think, the second Man United women's staff member to go over to the men's team in the last 12 months. I think this is the second one. And they're
Oh,
more annoyed, I think,
wow.
from the fact that they feel like people are just using it as a stepping stone to kind of get into men's football. But they're hiring for a physio, from what I know, because he was the head of physio at Manchester United Women. And there was no announcement
Wow,
made
that's
about the fact that he
crazy.
left. Everyone just saw him in, I think his name's Ibram something. And they just saw him in the pictures working with Lisandro Martinez. So everyone was like, whoa, did he leave the women's
They're
team?
trying to get him quicker. They're trying to see if Martinez can get into the team quicker. But that's just crazy what they're trying to do there. You know what I mean? Like, but that's what they're doing as well. The Russian people. Like McShaw's going to be playing on Sunday. Should he be really playing on Sunday? You know, when he's just got a hamstring injury and yeah, he's played 4 games in a row. Like, why is Kobe Mino all of a sudden not ready to play, but Luke Shaw can play after being out for 2 months, and you know his
Even
injury
Rasmus
record's worse
Hojlund,
than Mino.
Rasmus Hojlund was benched. I think it was in the Champions League game when Martial started.
Yeah,
And then because he was injured, because he had a back injury, and then he was back in the starting lineup the next game. And even when he plays, he does look like he's not 100%. Like, I generally don't
well,
think
you can
he's
tell,
feeling
you can tell, you
100.
can tell. Like, there's something not working. There's not something not right clicking in that regard. You can tell. You can tell that there's something not there. You can tell. It's so evident. It's so kind of clear to see that. You know what I mean? And I can see that as well. You
Do
know what
you
I mean?
think
So
Rashford, topic of Rashford, because obviously
yeah.
it's actually crazy. I saw today that United have not scored at Anfield since 2018 in a 3-1 in the 3-1 loss.
Oh, is it a 3-1 loss? Okay.
We didn't even
Okay,
win.
yeah,
The
yeah.
last
I was
time
gonna
we
say
won, I think
that's
was like
Mourinho.
it was Mourinho. I think the last time we won at Anfield was like
Van Gaal.
2016. Yeah, Van Gaal.
Yeah, Wayne
So
Rooney. Wayne Rooney 1
Wayne
0.
Rooney,
We only
yeah.
we only won 1 0. Yeah, yeah.
So that
Yeah.
one. So do you think, obviously, because Bruno's
Yeah.
out, who would
We had a
play
good
instead?
record on the Van Gaal, against Liverpool, We
We
beat
did.
them. Martial 3-1. We beat them at Anfield at Old Trafford 3-0. We beat them at their ground, I think twice in the Mourinho era. Mata scored when we won, when we call it Quanfield, and then Wayne
Yeah.
Rooney, we won there as well in 15-16. So Van Gaal had a good record. It's something that doesn't get spoken about a lot, Van
I think
Gaal's record at
when people
Anfield.
talk about Anfield, they talk about basically 2018 onwards, because that's when it's been absolutely
That's what I'm
annihilation.
saying. And Mourinho as well at Anfield. I think he got 1 loss, 2 draws, and he won at. Did he win at home in his against Liverpool? What was his
I
results
can't
at
remember.
home?
I can't remember, but
Yeah,
I
let us
know
know in the chat.
let us know in the chat if Mourinho did win at home against Liverpool,
Yeah,
because obviously Bruno's out. Would this be a chance to
yeah.
experiment with maybe 2 strikers? Maybe playing Rashford behind
Mm,
Hojlund? Would Rashford even
nah.
start? Do you think
I think Rashford wouldn't even start. I don't think he's going to be on the pitch. It's going to be Garnacho and Anthony again, and there's going to be Hoyland in behind him, and then they're going to go like that. Like, I don't think it's going to be them two in there. I'm sorry, but it's not. I mean, unfortunately, that's not what's going to happen. So it ain't easy. I'm telling you now, it ain't easy. But that's what's going to happen. And Anthony's got 1 assist in 25 games. One assist in 25 games.
that's
I don't
ridiculous.
know. I'm going to check right again now, but I think it's 1 assist.
I
Let
thought
him
it was
know in the chat
28
if
games.
that's correct.
I
Sorry,
thought that was in 28 games. I thought I saw that stat the other day.
28.
Yeah, I thought it said
What
28
stat
games.
is that?
One assist, 1 goal involvement in 28 games. Because he ain't got any assists this
Wow.
season. But I
Yeah, I'm
don't
looking at that. Yeah, 28. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 28. Yeah, 28.
I saw
Yeah.
because I was looking at it because I saw that Mohamed Kudus has in the league already tallied his
It's the
goals.
wrong one.
He's
We got the
already
wrong
tallied his
one.
goals.
Did you watch what do you call it? Yap Stam's interview on the overlap.
Yeah, I
Did you see
watched
what he said about him? He said that, yeah, he's all right in Ajax and whatnot, but he had a okay season. Like, he had what, is it 9 goals, and how many assists did he get? I think
like
11 assists.
11 assists or something like that.
Something
But
like
I
that
think he's
anyway,
made
yeah.
for the Dutch league. I think the pace of the Dutch
Yes.
league and the way that the Dutch league is, how they play, I think he's
Yes.
made for it. I feel like even if he went to another European league, I think the Premier League is different. I think he could do well in another Premier League. Like, I feel like he could do well maybe in La
I'm
Liga.
not sure, Nah, because Rafinha, for me, I think he's a better version of Anthony, a little bit better version of Anthony, and he's struggling in the La Liga. They don't rate him over there in Barcelona.
And he
You know, they
pushed to
don't
get
rate him
that
at
move.
all.
Yeah, he pushed to
Yeah,
get that move as
exactly.
well.
He should have stayed in the Premier League. Like Rafinha is a Premier League player. He's more suited to the Premier League. Like he's got a bit of pace about him, got a little bit of trickery, a little bit,
Yeah.
and you know he can get goals in the Premier League. He's a decent player, but in La Liga he's trash. You know, he's trash.
Would you take him
You
over
know,
Anthony if you had the choice? Who would you take?
ah, if I had a choice, it would be Rafinha instead of Anthony. But you know, it's one of them. Like I just need technical wingers now. Kubo, who else is out there that we could go and get? Like people are just like good wingers. Like that winger that went to Bayern Munich. I was thinking about him. You know, he went from Granada to Bayern Munich. I forgot what
Oh,
his name is.
recently.
Yeah,
You know, I would
yeah,
take.
recently.
This is off topic, but I would take Adeyemi. I
Nah,
know,
I'm not convinced about Ademi. You
I know
know,
he's not a right winger, but he would be an option for me if United needed someone. Obviously, I think it's only at this point it's just speculation because I don't see United going out and making signings in the. Do you think United's going to make signings in the January window? Because I don't think they will.
no, I see some reports right of maybe us getting a Nice player from Nice, but I genuinely can't see it. I think the money you got to remember now, United now, obviously they'll claim that they don't have money, but no goal, no Carabao Cup, no Europa League, no Europe. They've lost a lot of money from the Champions League. They're not going to see it as beneficial unless they get to Champions League. They're not going to see it as beneficial to them. So I think they're going to allow it, wait for Ineos to come in, and then obviously work their way in that way. I just don't see it. I think we're just going to maybe sell players. You know, Ten Hag is happy with a group of players. I think he said some things in the press conference today.
Yeah, I'm
Got
going
some
to bring
good
up
group
some
of
of them.
players.
I'm going to bring up some of his
Yeah,
comments
so
today because he was asked about his tactics. He was asked about the process, and I hate the word process. I hate the word,
oh,
but he basically said I'm focusing on the process, making the team better, and that's my only concern. That's what I'm focused on, and that's the right thing, and that's the team. So he's saying he's focused on the team and the process. He said there's no concern because I'm here to win and I have to make the team play better. Good is not good enough. We are inconsistent, and I have to work on how the team will play.
bollocks.
You didn't even let me
He
finish.
waffles a lot, man. I can't lie to you. It's
The
waffle.
rest
I
of the
can't even
quote
hear it.
is I want to win and the progress is in the right direction. We haven't met the standards. That is the truth. And the future for Manchester United is very good when you see how many good young players are in the squad with high potential to play at the top level. Do you think that United is right now too focused on having players that are high potential rather than right nows?
Exactly.
You,
Like what are we talking about here? High potential, like generally. I'm tired of that word, high potential, this and that. Like I don't like that word because I feel like you have to use it correctly, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? So I don't really and also Hojlund as well. I was talking about that in the summer. I said my tweet, I don't know if you see my tweet, but I was like, why are we buying potential striker at 75 million? It's a lot of money, you know. Go and get me a Vlahovic that you know what you're gonna get. Go and get me someone who
Only
you
United spend money on potential. Only United spend money on
yeah, but the
potential.
thing is, though, we don't need it. That's why I'm saying to people a lot now is that if we get a manager now who's a 2 to 3 year manager, Man United fans need to stop thinking about like a long term manager, a project. There's no more projects in football. Give me a manager who comes in 3 years, does a job, then leaves. Another manager 3 years does a job, then leaves. That's where my head's at now. I don't
The
think there's a
3 year
project anymore.
cycle. You're saying the
3 year
3 year cycle of
cycle.
money.
Let's keep going. 3 years, 3 years, 3 years, 4 years. If you stay a little bit longer, fair enough. Then we move. Top managers in Europe, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Juventus, they've all been successful with having short-term managers. Carlo Ancelotti has been here, what, 3 or 4 years? Done amazingly well. Zidane, 3 years, out the door, left out the door. Look at Bayern Munich. Was it Heinz? Um, the Hansi Flick, Nagelsmann, these guys, they come in, they do a job, and then they go. You know, what I mean, it's you know what it is. It's our fan base is now. It's just getting caught in this idea of Fergie's going to be, and we have to play the Man United way. You have to back the manager. At Man United, you back the manager, and and he stays there for 4 or 5 years. Bollocks! You come in 3 or 4 year job, and you move on. Then we don't have no attachment to managers. We say, right, thanks for the memories. We move on. It's only in England where everybody's like But I feel sorry for the manager. Why? Move on. You've not done well here. We move on now. We have to have that mentality. Everyone abroad, they have the mentality of right. Another manager's come in, right? He'll do the job. We're too fixated on like cuddle up to managers. Let's move them on. And I'm not saying, by the way, that the Glazers aren't a problem for that because they have been a problem. But when I'm talking about now, if the new structure comes in and Ineos comes in right now, and they say right, they're building a situation here right now, is everyone going to go against the what do you call it, the new structure? You're not, because you have to see what that brings, right? So if they say we're going to get another manager, 3-year plan, but then they are successful at that, then it's worked out. It's worked out.
And the main thing that you mentioned is the structure of the club. Real Madrid, I think they're, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they're a well-run team in terms of their plan, their recruitment strategy, their footballing direction, all of that stuff. Bayern Munich, another team, I think is similar in that instance. You didn't even, it's funny you didn't mention PSG because obviously I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like when it comes to
their failed project,
I feel like when it comes to United in the last 10 years and PSG, I think we're kind of similar in terms of they've got a sporting director, they've got a footballing structure, and they've got a heap load of money that they just misspend. I feel like, the players this summer that they brought was a random combination of players. Skriniar, Vitina, Colomwani, Gonzalo Ramos, Usman Dembele, all of that to keep Mbappe happy, and they just about made it out of their group stage. Just about. Manchester United, I think, are quite similar in that, in terms of they just buy a random combination of players in the hopes that it's something that works out. I'm not saying that PSG and United are exactly the same, but I'm saying more so how things, because 20 years from now, how can I tell my kids that Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi played on the same team, but they never won a Champions League?
I know.
You go. It's ridiculous. Another combination of random players that to me, it just never made sense as to, them all being together. And this year is another example.
Also, that's where football structure is better, that the football structure signs players rather than the manager as well. I know the manager might have a little bit of input, but if the football structure buys players, that means any manager can come in and be like, right, we know what manager ideology we want, right, we're going to bring you in. Like now, Pep Guardiola leaves, they're going to bring in De Zerbi or Xabi Alonso because they know he's going to play a similar way of playing. They're going to bring a similar profile of manager, and he slots in like a glove. We right now, we've brought in these players. We're going to have to sell half of these lot because this guy, Ten Hag, has brought in mediocre signings. Anthony, who's going to want to play with Anthony? Mason Mount, maybe in another manager, but again, it's a lot of trash that we bought, you know what I mean? And like I said, at least with Ollie, like Ollie still had what? Pogba, he still had who did he have when he left over? Matic, who was there, like in terms of like players that you thought fair enough. Even the Mourinho team, when Ollie left, Mourinho's team was not that bad when you deep it. Pogba, Matic was in his prime, Herrera, Ibrahimovic. Yeah, like you had decent players in there. This Ten Hag team, when you actually deep it, the quality, I'm like, it's a bit of a madness. It's a bit of a madness when you look at the quality.
Do you think the problem is quality, or do you think it's the manager, or do you think it's the structure, or do you think it's all three? And I'm guessing you what do you rank as the biggest problem?
Obviously, the owners are the biggest problem. That's that. Nobody can deny that. Obviously, the structure goes below it, but then obviously, I just look at what I can control. We keep talking about structure, we keep about ownership, but it's like we know that's there. But what we can control is a manager who came into the job, and it was revealed. He said, "I am not going to come to this job if I don't have full control." That's what he said. He said it with his own words. I only came to the job if I could have control. And he got his control, and he has failed with that control. Just call it what you see it. He came in and he has failed with that control, or is failing, for those that still believe in Ten Hag. That's what he is right now. So I can only go on base of what I can see. I can only go on base of what I'm watching, and that is it. He is failing at his job. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's something that the manager's done to himself, unfortunately. But yeah, man, I just think it's one of them where the manager, I backed him at first, but then I said to myself, this guy's not playing the weight. And you know what's mad as well? I was watching the interview with with Yap Stam. He said this is not Ten Hag football. He said in Ajax he was playing a possession base. He goes, he's surprised as to what he's doing here. This is not the way that you should be playing. He almost like felt a bit like, I'm not saying embarrassed, but he was like,
I think he felt.
yeah, man,
I
like,
think he felt sad for him. I actually think he felt sad for him because
yeah,
when I watched the interview, and it was a funny interview. And obviously, it's interesting to hear his perspective because he's probably followed Ten Hag a lot more than other people have prior to joining
yeah,
Manchester United. And you kind of get a better understanding because I've said this before, for a manager that cared so much in the past about possession style football, how could he be so naive in abandoning that? So early in the season, just because the
yeah,
players are not able to. But it's like you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. If you don't abandon it, and United continue to lose possession, and they get outplayed, you get criticized. And if you continue to try and play
mm,
possession-based football, taking risks, playing this 3-1-6 formation, which I think would only work in the league if you've got the right players for it. Not players
yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah.
can. I don't think you can mold players into it because Pep has said that he's struggled with trying to mold Vardiol into this like left back kind of inverted kind of thing. Like what
Oh,
he's done with Akanji and Stones
yeah,
and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He said that he's struggled with Vardiol, and that's not any criticism to Vardiol because he's still a good player. But it's just that some players are not system type players. They're just not that.
System
And I
type
think
players. Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah.
feel like with Ten Hag, he's trying to make some of these players into this system type player, and they're not that. He's trying to make McTominay into a system style player who I think you
Mm.
lose more than you gain with a player like McTominay. We used to play him. I don't know if you remember last season, inverted fullbacks were the thing. Wan-Bissaka was playing inverted. Luke Shaw, suddenly that's been abandoned completely. And
Mm.
for me, it's
And
like
also, he's abandoned Wan-Bissaka now. Have you noticed? Like Wan-Bissaka's just like, you're not my guy anymore. Like all of a sudden, he's not using him anymore. He's just the way the manager, like uses you and then just drops you like that. I just imagine what it feels like in a dressing room. Imagine you're a player, you come
I
over
think
and
he's got. I think he's got the dressing room on Smash. I'm not gonna lie. I think not on Smash, but I think players are more so scared of him more than anything else. And
mm,
and the reason why I'm saying scared is because they've probably seen what he's done to Sancho. They've seen what he's done to Ronaldo.
yeah, yeah, of
They
course, of
can see
course, of
that he's
course.
not scared to kick them out of the team. Basically, he's not scared to do that because he's got that authority.
But I look at him though, and I'm like, I just look at the way Ten Hag is that. How are you going to build morale here when you don't know when you're going to play next? Like, you imagine that. Like, you don't know when you're going to play next. You don't know.
That's
Like,
true.
I might be playing 1 minute, then you might not be playing 1 minute. And also, the manager said as well, he only likes to deal with 12 to 14 players. That's mad, 12 to 14. Is that crazy? Are you mad?
12 to
12 to
14.
14.
There's more players on a basketball team. There's more players on a basketball team. The easiest way to put it.
That's
There's
crazy.
15 players on a basketball team. And
That's
for me, it's like
mad when you
that's
deep it.
overrunning your players. You're running your players into the ground. You are literally running your players into the ground because essentially he's basically saying that there's going to be his starting 11 and 3 subs.
Free sub, basically. Yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
much.
that's all I'm going to bring.
Let's
And if I'm desperate, then I'll bring in 5. But most of the time, I'll bring in 3, and I know what I'm going to do. So imagine you're on the bench thinking, I'm never going to get a game, am I? Now, I mean, Palestri, all these guys, like, he brings them on as well when it's like, I just don't want to do damage limitation. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, I
Yeah,
just
no,
won't
it's
even
true.
bother, like, you know what I mean, though?
Um
Like, how would you feel, though, like, hearing that? Like, it just wouldn't create good morale, if you know what I mean?
I think morale is a big thing at United because we've seen how easily players can get what's the word? No, I wouldn't say disheartened, but is mentality is weak. Like I feel like with United, we've got weak
Yeah,
mentally weak players that, and I'm not speaking from like a mental health side. I'm speaking more of an
yeah, yeah,
in-game situation where we go a goal down, and there was times under Jose we were coming back every game, like every other game
yeah.
we were coming back. And we're calling it what's it called, comeback season and all that stuff where we come back from
Yeah.
being down. Whereas now, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but if United are losing a game, I got no faith that United are going to come back. I have zero faith. I maybe get a draw at best, maybe.
We've
Um,
already come back from wins, from winning positions, losing positions. I think it's
I think
Brentford
that Forest game,
and Forest. Yeah, yeah, that's
that's it.
crazy.
That's it.
That's
Let me get some of
crazy.
these super chats out because my favorite person, Troy Superstar, is back and he says we should have levels. Ten Hag must leave. Where's our pride? Then he goes on to say Ten Hag was exposed last season, never was a Premier League manager. And his last super chat, big up to Troy, says I have stopped being a United supporter until Ten Hag is gone. I'm not gonna lie. I know a few people that have said that they're gonna stop watching football if United lose basically on the weekend. They said until the
Wow.
manager goes, they're not watching any more games. But
You know what the best thing is? It's on Sunday at 4:30.
it
Like,
basically makes or breaks your weekend, like, and your week. If United
yeah,
gets smashed, that's a long week for everybody. That's a long week. You're just gonna
it's a
get bantered
long week.
non-stop.
That's a long week, you know. If we get beat, that's a long week. Damn.
But
Damn.
let's talk about Varane for a second. Big up to Josh in the chat. It's come
Yeah,
to
big up
light.
Josh, man.
It's come to light that Manchester United actually did not sign him until 2025 plus 1 year. It's actually reportedly 2024 plus 1 year. I don't know if you remember he came in.
Who?
Rafael Varane, when he came in, they said it was a
Oh,
5-year
okay,
deal
yeah,
plus
yeah, yeah.
one. Now they're saying it's actually a 4-year deal plus one, meaning he could probably leave as a free agent in the summer, or they would have to sell him in January. I saw a report today that said that the list of priorities in terms of offloading players was number one, Jadon Sancho.
You know how much he's on? He's on a lot of money, you know.
Yeah, he's one of the
Varane.
highest. He's the highest earner, I think, after Cass. He's one of the highest earners.
Mm. Yeah, it's crazy, man. You know our club, man. That's what I say. We can't really get these players unless we pay huge bucks of money. Like if we don't pay huge bucks of money, you know what I mean? We don't really pay um everyone in that regards. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah.
I'm just very like it's crazy. I can't lie to you. It's absolutely crazy. But I want to buy these players, though. But at the same time, now I'm a bit haunted in that regards. You know what I mean? Now because it's like the fan base turned on these players. Look how easy the fan base have turned on two legends of the game, Varane and Casemiro. Our
Have
fan base
they?
is so
I ain't seen anyone. Maybe I'm around the right people. Maybe I'm around the right people because I've not seen it. I've seen people calling Ten Hag out for his treatment of Varane. Casemiro, I've been a bit confused because I've not seen anything. Maybe I'm in a different.
disrespected Casemiro.
I,
I'm the Casemiro defense league man. I'm gonna be supporting him until he leaves the football club, man. We have to be in awe that Casemiro is at our football club. These Kobe minors should be learning off him, man. They should be understanding the mentality that this guy has got in here. I just can't believe it. And people think he's finished. I don't think he's finished. I think he's far from finished. He's had a bad turn of form, don't get me wrong, but I believe it's down to structurally the problems at the football club in terms of midfield. Look at Amrabat's coming, and only Amrabat now people are starting to see his true qualities.
I've been getting
You
ripped
know,
for Amrabat. People have been telling me come to the stand. You need to be held accountable in court for your comments about Amrabat. And I keep telling people just be patient because he's a good player. And when he gets a run of games, you'll see it.
yeah,
You will see it
yep,
when you and what's happened? He's had a run of games now, and
yep.
people are seeing that he's good. And also, I'll say one thing is that to look good in a crap team is not that easy.
No,
That
it
might
ain't
sound
easy.
stupid, but it's not. I don't think it ain't easy. Word to Saeed, it ain't easy because
Yeah, it ain't
I think
easy.
when
It ain't
everyone's
easy.
crap, you just say yeah, everyone was doing. When you talk about a game, you just be like everyone was shit. Yeah, everyone. There was not one positive from that game. But when
Everyone.
you are good in a shit team, people will be like everyone was shit except for this person. It's kind of easier to stand out and make a better impression, which is what Amrabat has done. I think he's been unfortunate as well because he's not got a run of games. And you look at, the signings that Ten Hag has brought in. The only person I think that has probably got a run of games is Onana and probably Hojlund.
Mm. By the way, let me ask you a question. Yeah, that Onana save. Yeah, should he have done better?
The goal, the Bayern Munich goal.
Yeah, yeah.
100%. I think he did this thing where he shuffled to the left a bit and then he left a big gap
Break
on the
dancing
right.
on them. If you watched the podcast yesterday, Nordi was like, he's break dancing. He's a professional break dancer because it's like it's true though. He keeps like diving too early. He's done it so many times now. But I was told after the game, you've got an agenda. How are you blaming Onana? Are you kidding me? Is this guy dives so early? He gives the whole goal. He did it against Nottingham Forest. He did
Yeah.
it against Galatasaray for the disallowed goal. He's done it so many times this season where he just gives you the whole goal to aim at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even with that particular goal, I literally was saying when the ball went to Coman, I was like, come out. I thought he would come out
Come
because
out.
any goalkeeper
People
would
with
come
David
out.
De Gea. Remember
Yeah,
David De
even
Gea? People were moaning
David
at
De
David De
Gea
Gea.
would come out. David De Gea would come out and literally use his legs to basically make himself bigger
Yeah.
and occupy
Simple.
the goal space. I felt like that goal he should have definitely done better. Anyone saying you have an agenda, I think that's wrong. That's one thing I'll agree with
I'm not
you.
blaming for everything, by the way, because Wan-Bissaka was out of position. He was caught out there. He was playing it onside. But also, the fact that he just gives the whole goal away. I'm just like,
When he
all you
joined
got to do is just pick a spot. Pick
after
a
the
spot,
first
that's it.
after the first international break back in like September times, I remember it was reported that he was working with a goalkeeper coach at United because United were concerned about he dives either too early or
What?
B. Yeah, I don't know if you saw this report, but he was working with a goalkeeper coach at United to basically work on his positioning. Number one and
Oh,
number two, because they feel like he kind of tries to pre-predict where someone's gonna go, and he always ends up diving very early, or he ends up diving very
yeah.
late. It's like there's not anything in between that. And then there was that run of games where it looked like he improved. It actually looked like he improved.
Mm.
He looked more confident. But I feel like now the kind of the weight or the burden of United being out of Champions League because of predominantly his mistakes is going to weigh a bit heavy on him. And for me, it's like, what has Bayinda got to do to get a chance? The poor guy.
Well, he will get a chance. He will get a chance because obviously he's going to AFCON, isn't he?
If he gets a call up.
On
If he gets a call up.
He will get a call up. He will get a call. Honestly, I need a break from Onana. I don't care what anybody says, but I need a break from Onana. I just see a keeper, who he may be shitter than. And by the way, Onana won't miss that many games, by the way, because January we've only got what?
Yeah, it's a few games.
Like you said, 2 games. So you're not going to miss anything really. But I just want to see this Bayendid kid play for a little bit. Just see what he's about.
Yeah,
See
for
what
me,
he's
it's like
about.
just give him a chance. Yeah, just especially because
Give him a chance.
And also you want your goalkeeper to be ready if called upon.
United might play them games, like they played last year. Remember they played Granada. Who did they play in January? Remember that time when they played people in was it last? Because that was because of the World Cup, wasn't it? Though.
Yeah, it was the Christmas break
Cup.
when they played a bunch of friendly before they played.
Yeah, that
Birmingham
was the
Carabao
one.
Cup.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, that was the one.
But even then, a lot of them had come back. It was mainly like academy and just whoever didn't go to the World Cup because a lot of the players had just come back from the World Cup.
Musa's just messaged me now. He just said to me, Onana is concussed after a lot in pre-season. Yo, big up Musa, man. But you know what? It's one of them where with Onana, I just can't trust him, man. I remember I went to Munich, innit? And the Bayern fans were cussing him, I was on a train, with a load of Bayern fans, and he said, yeah, what's wrong with your keeper, man? He's no good. And I was like, yo, listen, I don't know, man. I just gotta give him time, innit? At that time, I was like, let's give him time. But yeah, he's you know what it is with me? He's almost like too erratic to be a keeper. I don't want my keeper being this kind of like flamboyant, kind of like loud. I just want him to be a guy who just saves his goal, and he's just, you just know what you're gonna get with him. This is a guy that looks like he wants to be in midfield. You see him? He wants to go and join the midfield. And bro, like respectfully, like that's why we need a number 6. By the way, we need a number 6.
So you say take him out of goal, put him in number 6.
No. We need that. We need him to pass the ball to the number 6 and let him carry the ball. Problem is though, Amrabat's not the greatest ball carrier in the world. He's good at decently. Maguire don't want to do it. Varane's not capable of doing that. Lisandro is. That's why I'm waiting for Lisandro to come back a little bit, maybe, and see.
I just hope he don't get rushed back. Like for me, that's kind of the main part. But big up to Troy says Saeed asked Mina what it takes for her to be Ten Hag out. You guys know I've made it clear. So people always ask me this, if I'm Ten Hag in or Ten Hag out. I told you guys I'm at a point now where I don't care anymore. I'm not Ten Hag in. I'm not Ten Hag out.
Long.
It's one of them ones where I can see the problems and I can see the solutions. And if it starts to get better, it starts to get better. And if they have to part ways with the manager because it's not getting better, then I'm for that. That's literally how I feel. For me, that's not sitting on the fence.
No, that's fair.
Because I feel like I've sat here and I've criticized Ten Hag a lot. But I've also criticized the players. I've criticized the club, the structure. I think I've criticized pretty much everything. I've highlighted his shortcomings and where I feel like he's failing, especially like his man management
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. And I've praised him, but I'm not as optimistic as I was with him, say, this time last year, or maybe like at the beginning of
Okay.
this year.
Fair enough. That's
I
fair enough.
don't.
Yeah, that's
I
fair
used to
enough.
be like very much like, yeah, Ten Hag, trust the process. Things are getting better. I remember I saw a tweet the other day that I tweeted where it said like, oh, we have 20 wins in 27 games. Trust the process. Now I'm very much like,
Okay.
I don't care. Like
No,
I'm at a
that's fair.
point
That's
where
fair.
I'm not gonna
That's
call
fair.
for his head, but I'm also not gonna make excuses for him. And I think that's where a lot of fans kind of struggle. Like it's either you're Ten Hag, people expect you to be Ten Hag in where you defend everything he's doing and you have an excuse for everything, or you Ten Hag
No,
out and you
that's
slate
good though.
him.
That's good though. No, that's good because that's it. Same with Lillard. He will never call a manager out. Yeah, I would say him out, but he'll say everything underneath it. You know what I mean? But I said when I was people think that I was just Ten Hag out first. I said no, Ten Hag sacking himself. And when you look at it, really, Ten Hag is trying to sack himself because
Yeah,
he's
pretty
making
much.
some silly mistakes that makes him just kind of almost like be like, you know what, just sack
He
me.
seems like he
Give
don't
me
care
ample
sometimes.
reasons to do that.
He
Yeah,
seems like he don't care.
I think he doesn't. Yeah, he's gonna get a big payout. He's gonna get a big payout if he gets
He says
sacked.
like 15
So
million.
he's laughing.
It's like 15 million if
15
they sack him.
million. Oh, and then he'll get another job. He's a good coach. He's a good manager for another club, but not United because he doesn't want to. He's left his principles, and that's it.
The weekend. Let's quickly talk about that. Um,
Ah,
Anfield. I'm
yeah,
very unsure about how United even line up. If I'm being honest,
yeah.
I don't even know how I don't even know what. For me, I've said this time and time again. That front line, I have no hope in them scoring 10 goals between them for the entire season in the Prem. Honestly, and if you're not, and they if they somehow do score 10 goals, it's coming from Garnacho. I don't.
Yeah, well, there you
Every
go.
game I go into it saying, I hope this is the game that Rasmus scores, and then I come out of the game and he still hasn't scored. I'm hoping this could be the game he scores, but I feel like again I sound like a broken record at this point. I'm just repeating the same shit every week.
Yeah.
How do you think United gonna line up? And do you think United
Uh,
can actually hit Liverpool in certain places, especially because Liverpool got a few defensive injuries, they got players out. I think the midfield is going to be interesting for both teams, and obviously their front line.
yeah,
We know who's in their front line.
yeah. I think Salah is going to be a dangerous player. I think he's got what's his record now against United? He's got a top
He's got the
record
most.
in
He's
terms of
scored.
goals.
I think it's like 12 or 15 or something like that. He scored the most goals against United
Yeah,
out of out of all the Premier League teams. He's scored the most against Manchester United. Also,
yeah.
also
11
11.
in
Credit to
six
him,
at
yeah,
Old
because
Trafford.
I think he
Wow.
don't get enough. I don't think he gets enough credit. I know this is about United, but he scored 100 Prem goals in 2021, and in 2 years' time, he's scored another 100.
12 goals, against Man United.
Yeah, he's got the most goals against.
12.
He's got the. I'm hearing every people are saying to me, yeah, I'm gonna triple captain Salah, or I'm gonna
It's
captain
Wayne Rooney records. Remember
Nunes.
Wayne Rooney against what do you call it? Against Man City. I
Yeah,
think Rooney has. Let me
the
check
most.
Rooney's record.
But Salah likes to go against Thing. Obviously, Darwin Nunes. I don't know who plays on the left. Luis Diaz. Depend maybe Jota. I'm not too sure, but I think Salah is going to be the biggest threat if he's against Luke Shaw on that left hand side. Good luck to Luke Shaw and his hamstring.
Rooney, yeah, 11
11
goals.
goals.
Rooney.
Salah got
But
more,
Salah's got 12.
and it's not
Wow.
even in as many
Respect
games as.
Salah.
Imagine how many games Rooney has played
I
against City,
know.
and
Rooney's
imagine
played a lot.
how many games
And
Salah
they
has
were
played
shit at
against
that
United.
time. And really, most of his career, they were shit. Oh, this Salah's crazy.
What do you think is going to happen?
Crazy.
What do you think is going to happen on
I
Sunday?
said 3-0 Liverpool. 3-0 Liverpool. I just like, yeah.
You don't think
3-0
United
Liverpool.
can hurt them in any kind of way?
No, no, no way. No way. No way at all. Are they hurting them anywhere on the football pitch? Nowhere.
You look at
It's
their
gonna
back
be a
line.
battering.
They got obviously Trent. I think they got this Kwanzaa kid. They got Van Dijk, and I think it's Simicast. That's likely going to be their back four.
Yeah.
Likely. Hojlund. I hope he don't get into another battle with man. I hope
Van
it's not
Dijk.
another
No.
wrestling game. I hope it's not
Even
another.
Konate. Even Konate is gonna be physical and whatnot. So it's gonna be tough either way. Like Konate and him.
How do you think United line up in terms of the midfield? How do you think Ten Hag lines up? Not how you want them
I
to,
think
but
it's gonna go with I don't think he'll play Kobe Mino. I think he'll play Amrabat. He won't dare to play Mino in that game. Who else is available in midfield?
That's literally it.
Yeah, he probably will play
That's
Mino then.
literally it.
If he plays Hannibal ahead of him, wow. Yeah, yeah, he might just do that. McTominay and then Mino. So yeah,
And you're saying 3-0.
yeah, 3-0,
Do you
3-0.
think we're gonna come back to it next week? But do you think next week is the day that Ten Hag gets his P45?
Yeah, I think it could be Monday. Monday P45.
How many
Ten Hag.
managers have been sacked on a Monday
Yeah,
after
yeah, yeah,
playing Liverpool the day before?
yeah. If he gets beat more than 3-0, he'll get sacked. If he gets beat at 2-0, I think that's respectable for Ten Hag and United. 2-0. But 3-0, 4-0, poor.
I can't predict a lineup. I can't predict a score, if I'm being honest. But the only thing I want is somewhat of a performance from the players. Like
Yeah,
if they come out 60, 70 minutes trying to be involved, trying to get something out of the game, okay, cool. But if you're telling me we go down 1-0 first 20, 25 minutes and they lose their
yep,
heads kind of thing, I think the floodgates will open. Essentially, I feel
yep.
like I feel like the floodgates will open. But big up to everyone. You guys know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button.
Big up.
We'll be back next week, Friday. Saeed will be live shortly, about 30 minutes time. So make sure you lot.
Yeah. 30 minutes. Mina's on, by the way. So
I'm on
Mina,
there as well. So make sure you
Marcel,
lot come over there. And Marcel.
Marcel, I'm here for you.
And Marcel. Big up to everyone, man. You guys already know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button because the likes and the views right now, it's not mathing. It's
Oh,
not
come on.
mathing at all. So be sure to
Do
hit the
do
like
it.
button on your way out. You guys can join the membership club. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom content. And make sure you lot come over to Saeed's stream or the minions. I want to see you lot in the chat. Say minions are here because I'll be there. Be sure. And I'll be back actually at 8:30 p.m. over here. Special guest, Liverpool fan, where we're going to preview the game in a bit more detail. You guys already know what it is. Be sure to hit the like button. Until about 30 minutes time, guys. It's your girl, Mina, Saeed. Peace.
Peace.